White people are running away. Oh. White people are running away. And now, I did something like this before, which is like a part one of it. But this time around, when I actually saw reasons why they were actually leaving, to some part of it, I don't know. It's kind of it's oh my god. Anyways, let me just allow you guys to watch the reasons why a lot of white folks, because it's now becoming, the percentage is now going high every single day, right? Let me see, what's the last percentage? The last percentage I saw here was 60 to 70%. Yeah, 60 to 70% uh, of white women are literally leaving. They are running away from their husband, legally married though. This one is not backyard marriage, legally married. They are running away. And I want you guys to honestly watch their reasons, because some of their reasons are quite funny. But why some, I feel like some of their reasons are genuine enough. Why some, I feel like that is not even a reason why you, oh, no, what. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And for disclaimers, this is just for educational purpose, not to come here defame anyone, not to come here make anyone feel uncomfortable. And I want to say very thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing my videos, dropping super thanks, joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys watch, and I'll be back with commentaries, and let me know your honest opinion in the comment section. Make sure you watch to the end so that you understand where each and every one of them is coming from.
I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, but about 3 years ago, I was strongly considering divorce, and I want to talk to you about why. So I'm going to tell you the story of the day where I thought to myself, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. My husband and I had 4 kids. We both worked full time. We had been together for 16 years at this point. We've been together since high school. And on paper, I have an amazing husband. He is incredibly supportive. He's kind. He's loyal. He's a great dad. He's very hands-on. He's an active participant. He's always present. Like, on paper, what else could I ask for? But in reality, my experience is very similar to the experience of other women. I had this amazing husband who on paper was great, but I was incredibly frustrated and burnt out from our marriage and from motherhood. Because what happens to so many of us is that we marry these amazing men and we have amazing relationships, and then we have kids. And when we have kids, women tend to carry a disproportionate amount of the work in the home, the work of raising kids, and the mental load. And that is exactly what happened to us. About 3 months after my 4th baby was born, I remember looking at my husband and saying, I need more. I need you to do more. I am exhausted. I am in charge of everyone and everything in this house. Every night when we cook dinner, you ask me what to make. Every day when you drop off the kids at daycare, you ask me what they need in their backpacks. I am the project manager of this home and I need you to do more. And he looked at me and he said, okay, just tell me what to do. Right? Every woman has heard this. Just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And I said, okay, something that would make my life easier is if in the mornings when I came downstairs with the 4 kids, because I do mornings by myself, the dishwasher was emptied, the dishes were put away, and the trash was taken out. That would make my life so much easier, because when I've got the 4 kids running around and the baby crying, I can't be looking for their favorite water bottle in the dishwasher. I just need to know it's clean. And he said, yeah, of course. What? Yeah, I'll do that. That's no problem. And so, of course, he does it. But then I have to remind him, and then he forgets, and then I have to remind him again. And there was this one morning where I woke up, and I went to put something in the trash and it was overflowing. And I went to get my son's water bottle and it was in the dishwasher with all the other clean dishes. And I felt so disrespected and unseen and unvalued at that point in time. And I remember texting my husband being like, what happened? Like, why didn't you do this? And he said, sorry, I was running late for work. And I remember thinking, oh my God, he doesn't see me, because what he's done has now made me late for work. And he doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the impact on me. And he doesn't see how every single thing in our home happens because I ask him to do it, or because I do it myself, or because I planned and organized it. The diaper bag is full because I filled it, right? I put the wipes in there. And I felt so frustrated. And I remember thinking, what's the point? What's the point of doing this with someone else? I might as well just do it alone. And it's not because my husband didn't love me or he did anything to me. And it's not because I didn't love him, but because I felt so taken advantage of in our relationship. And this dynamic It doesn't happen by accident, right? It's not like my husband did it to me, but we've been raised in this society that tells men and women who they should be in marriages and what it looks like to be a good mom versus a good dad. And we know the bar for moms is way up here and the bar for dads is way down here. And we fell into these norms. We fell into these roles in our family despite the fact that we never wanted to. And I'm lucky, and I say lucky because I have a partner who I know loves me and wants me to be happy and was willing and able to change. And so we did the work to figure out what equity looked like in our relationship. And I can tell you now, 3 years later, that we are happier than ever. Our kids are thriving. Our home runs like a well-oiled machine. And that took a lot of work. I want to say it took like 18 months to get there. And it was well worth it. But it is not uncommon. And so if your wife is coming to you and she's saying, I'm burnt out by the mental load and I need you to do more, she's not just saying that because she wants you to do more chores. She's saying that because truly, it can hurt your relationship. It can ruin your marriage if you do not participate in an equitable way in your home. And so what does that look like? What does it look like to change these dynamics? Well, we need to really assess in our homes what the work looks like. Because in most homes, the data supports this, women do a disproportionate amount of the work. They just do. They do more of the cooking and the cleaning and the laundry and the childcare while also working full time. And men have more time for things like their hobbies, like golf, for example, or just working out, running a marathon, right? And so we need to have hard conversations about what our time looks like, what our labor in the home looks like, what is invisible labor. We have to talk about these things. And when we don't, the alternative is that you no longer have a marriage, or you don't have a happy one at least. And so I share this story because I don't think I'm alone in this experience, and I want people to know that there's hope and that if you have a willing and able partner, you can change this. You can absolutely change this dynamic.
60 to 70% of divorces are initiated by women after the age of 40. Let that hit you in the face. Women are straight up dumping their husbands once the kids are grown and the hormones start doing backflips and cartwheels. This is the latest data. Women initiate about 69% of divorces, and among couples over 50, that gray divorce, that number stays roughly the same, around 66 to 70%. And in many cases, men are blindsided while the woman was emotionally checked out long before the papers were filed. Why? Here's the brutal truth. The first reason is she is done with your If you stopped taking her on dates, stopped taking care of yourself, came home, grabbed the phone, cracked the beer, ate the chips, and zoned out on the game while she handled the house, the kids, the emotions, everything, she's over it. You became her roommate with a friggin' pulse. She's tired of being your maid and or your mom, and she knows that she deserves better. The second reason, if you married her at 22, what did you expect to happen 30 years later? She's a completely different person. New passions, new confidence, new boundaries. If you did not grow with her, if you stayed stuck in the same habits, you weren't improving yourself, your sex game went stale, you stopped being adventurous, she got bored. She evolved and you didn't. And she's not settling for that old version of you anymore. Third reason is menopause. That's the final straw. Her hormones flip, her tolerance crashes, every ignored problem explodes. And if you are not helping her level her hormones, she's gone. And the fourth reason, she's got her own money. She's also have her own friends and her own life, and you let her work like a man just like you. And then why would she depend on you anymore? She was a wife, a mom, and busting her ass, working full time every day for years. She carried it all. Now she's fried. No more staying for the kids or the mortgage. She's gone. Here's a little bit of more data for you. Post-divorce, only 27% of women regret it. Men, 39% do. So more women are happy that they chose to divorce versus the ones who didn't. And here's some instruction for you. Don't marry young and clueless. Date long. Grow together. Step up every day. Dates, effort, self-care, adventure, intimacy, and polarity. And communicate. Evolve. Talk and be honest with her. Or watch her walk away once she hits 40.
Over on my Instagram about how white women have always been the backbone of white supremacist and fascist ideologies. And people keep going, but Sohar, if they didn't go along with it, their husbands would beat them. You have fallen hook, line, and sinker for white supremacist ideology. The idea that white women are perpetual victims, that white women cannot be active participants and generators of bigotry and violence. Someone left this paragraphs long comment on my Facebook post being like, they just had to go along with it. And even if it's horrible, it was the only way for them to survive. You have this picture in your head because of white supremacy that white women are incapable of being instigators of atrocities. White women were some of the most sadistic, evil, tyrannical torturers for centuries across the continents. During the Holocaust, women Nazi SS soldiers created some of the most horrific, gut-wrenching, sadistic forms of torture against Jewish, Romani, and queer people in concentration camps. White women reveled in their power to get people of color, especially black men, killed in the United States. The idea that white women were just going along with it like lambs, as opposed to literally being wolves, enjoying their power of being able to eat sheep, is exactly white supremacist propaganda. It's on purpose. It's intentional, the way we ignore, disregard, and diminish white women's role in white supremacy.
Okay, ladies and gentle people, this is how I became divorced at 22 years old. This is going to be very simplified. I would rather undershare than overshare. I have reached out to members, friends and family members, both myself and my ex-wife, to find the best way to do this. And we all pretty much came to the same conclusion of do not share more than is needed. But if at some point I feel the need to elaborate, I might do that. There might be longer versions of this with breakdowns and parts, but let's get into it. Okay, so I got married May 17th of this year. And shortly before that, my wife, or ex-wife, started a new job. And that's important to know. So we end up moving into our apartment together in mid-July. I believe it was July 16th. Between the when we got married and that time, we were living with my parents. So we move in about 2 weeks after that. My wife has just a breakdown, comes in my office, has a breakdown about, I feel like we might have rushed into this, we did things too soon, blah, 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 blah. And it wasn't like we need to split, it was just I'm freaking out. It's like, okay, let's talk through it. And about a week later, she apologizes, says, hey, I think I was just having kind of a mental breakdown. I'm like, hey, that's fine. I get it. It's scary times. I had a freak out. I think it was like the third night that we were staying in the apartment, just about missing my family. So some time goes on, and now we're in August, and there's another freak out. And I feel like we rushed into this, blah, blah, blah. Well, we meet with our premarital counselor. Well, our counselors, I guess, but they did our premarital counseling. We talked through, and they're like, hey, this is super common. We see this in young married couples all the time. Let's, set some expectations for one another just so you guys can help each other out. And we did. And, I think in my head, things are going great. Okay, so Monday, September 15th rolls around, and I leave work a little early. She tells me that she wants me to come home so we can talk. And so we go home, or I go home, and I get there, and she's like, hey, I'm not ready to talk just yet. Go play the game. So I'm like, okay, I play the game for an hour. Go back in. Hey, I'm not ready to talk just yet. Go play the game. Okay, go back in for now. Whatever. So basically, she tells me, hey, I don't know. I don't want to talk about this. I think that it's just not worth talking about. And me being an anxious person, I'm like, well, is it something small, or is it something like you want to move out? And she's just kind of like, I don't really know. I don't know. I feel like, there's just so many things happen so quick, and I don't know. Well, either way, we talked through things a little bit. I think she can tell that I'm upset. She could tell that I was upset, so she just kind of dialed back. Maybe, I don't know where her mind space is or head space is in any of this. Well, the following Saturday rolls around. Everything's all hunky-dory for me. I go out with my buddy. We put out some bags of corn and stuff. And then I get home. She's like, hey, when are you going to be home? I tell her, and she's like, okay, great. I'm going to take a shower, and I'll see you when you get home. Well, I get home. She got her bags packed. Hey, I'm going to stay with my mom. I need some space away. I might be back Wednesday. I don't know. Can we talk? Nope. Gone. Out the door. Gone. Poof. Gone. No contact that Sunday, that Monday. Then Tuesday night, I finally call her. Now, mind you, in between this, I'm over at my best friend's house. I don't know what's going on. I'm freaking out. And I say no contact. There were a couple texts sent. Well, she also goes over there and is with him and his girlfriend and just talking to them. And it's, they're trying to figure out what's going on. And they're asking the questions. Hey, is there anything going on? There might be causing this. Is there anything, She's like, no, nothing. Well, so Tuesday night I call her. And this is now, let me get the date. Yeah, so Tuesday the 23rd of September, I call her and things seem well. And I'm like, hey, do you want to go out tomorrow? She's like, yeah. So her and I go out. We have a great dinner. And she tells me, like, look, I've decided I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to run away. Like, we're going to work on this together. I can't leave you. I don't want to leave you. I'm not going to leave you. Awesome. But you need to do this and this and this and this and this. And mind you, everything's been fairly normal for me up to this point, up until her leaving. So thing number one was therapy. So I put myself in therapy. I get couples therapy for the two of us. I'm paying out the butt for it, but whatever. This is necessary. Whatever means. She's like, I'm not ready to move back in yet, but we'll see. So we have our first therapy session that following Sunday, and just to kind of collapse all this down, eventually after like a week or so, she moves back in. Things are going great. I'm cooking dinner every single night, right? She did almost nothing around the apartment, and I would complain about that because it's like, but I was like, you know what? I don't care. Cooking, cleaning, everything, laundry, everything. I'm doing everything, right? I like made up her closet for her and stuff and whatever. I'm just like, I'm trying to show her whatever it is that you need, I'm going to do. And I just start working on myself and start trying to be, the best husband that I could possibly be. And it's stuff that I should have been doing beforehand, but it's like, this is my first time. I'm a kid. Well, 3 weeks go by. Let me go back to my text to figure out the date. So, mind you, during this time, too, she's, like, trying to get me to buy her a new car and, like, a gaming PC, and we're coming to all these... I mean, it's amazing. It seemed like the most perfect marriage. Well, Sunday, October 12th rolls around, and things have been going great. We have our therapy session, and the therapist is like, guys, I think we made a breakthrough. And we're laughing, giggling, whatever. Well, therapy session ends. She looks at me, hey, I'm dropping out of nursing school. When did you make that decision? She's like, last week. I was like, okay, all right. I support you. That's a big decision. That gives us more time to spend together, I guess, work through these things. Breakdown. Anxiety, full on, just freaking out. My jump to is, hey, let's pray. She doesn't want to. She goes, jumps in the shower. She's free. I can't do this. I thought I could, whatever. And I'm like, hey, let's get in the car, because car rides always calmed her down. Let's get in the car and ride around. In the car, I've been lying to you. I've been doing X, Y. And I go, have you been cheating? And she looks at me, yeah. With who? It's her boss. So yeah, so she says that. And, I've always been a very emotional person, but in that moment, I couldn't cry. I couldn't get angry. All I could do was drive. And in my head, I'm just praying while listening and trying to talk. And basically, she says, I find out over time that she had started emotionally cheating, which let's just call it what it is. She started cheating 2 weeks after we moved into our apartment. So mind you, this is 2 months after we get married. And that, if we do the timeline here, that's when the first freak out happened, when she came into my office. And then apparently it was just that. And then towards the time of the second freak out, before she moved out, was when they had started making plans to be physical. And then during the time between that freak out and her moving out is when they actually did have a level of physical relation. And then, mind you, this all comes out the day before I'm supposed to hop on a flight for a promotion that I just received. And she tells me that this has been going on, that it's most likely going to continue going on. And not crying about it, not upset about it. Actually, I'll just tell you guys, laughing at my crying, because eventually I do start crying, of course. She's like, look, let's go back to the apartment. Chill out there. And I'm like, okay. We get back to the apartment. She's like, look, I need to call him. Mind you, I'm falling apart. Look, I need to call him. I need to make sure he's okay. So So she leaves for 2 hours while it's like 12 o'clock at night. I can't sleep. I can't do anything, right? I have a flight to catch the next morning. I can't do anything. I'm falling apart. Finally, she comes home. She's like, look, I don't want to talk about this. Let's just lay down. So I get like 2 hours of sleep, wake up, get on a flight, and absolutely bomb. Do terrible, right? Because how could you do well? And during this week, while I'm gone, all I'm thinking of is, okay, how am I going to fix this? How am I going to fix this? I don't know how I'm going to fix it. How do you forgive? Well, I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure it out. And wow, God is good, because though I didn't fix it, he kept me functioning better than I would have without him. And yeah, so then I get back. She ends up actually picking me up from the airport that Thursday night. We hang out, or she drives me back to the apartment, goes and stays at her mom's. Friday morning, wake up, we go on a date. It's great. We're having a good time. It's a little weird, but we're having a good time. Well, eventually, we go back to the apartment. She falls asleep. I go through her phone, and it is her and him dogging on me, talking about how she's going to stay on my good side so she can get things from me, and all sorts of terrible stuff. And so I'm like, hey, wake up. Let's go. And she's like, oh my gosh, did you go through my phone? I'm like, yeah, I did. And then
something that's really messed up and is going to piss everybody off. And I mean everybody, because if you're not mad at me for one side of it, you're going to be mad at me for another side of it. Because unfortunately, it's true. And it's a bitter truth that's been picked at, but we haven't experienced until now. And unfortunately, only a white woman could say this. But I am fully prepared and ready to receive the consequences and backlash that this could potentially get me. This is going to be really hard to hear, but if you'll stay with me to the end of this, I swear to you, there's a nugget of hope at the end. It had to be a white woman. If you've heard about white women's privilege and how whenever something bad happens to a white woman, it gets more coverage, it gets more attention. It's true. And whether you've thought that in this situation, on either viewpoint of that, either being, why is it a white woman that's more important when the same exact thing has happened to other people? Or the other side being, you were born white and you didn't choose to be white and you don't really want to have white privilege, but you do, and you're just trying to figure out how best to live your life and be a good person. That's how most people view what they're trying to do, is just trying to live out their life and be a good person. And that includes privileged white women. The thing is that they don't see how their privilege is preventing them from actually seeing and understanding what other people have gone through. And their privilege it's a buffer. I think I have an idea of why there's this privilege, and I want to try to explain it. White women have that buffer because white women have been more shielded and protected from public displays of violence against them than any other race or gender. There had to be a group that was safer, that was more protected, that was set aside from everyone else in order for that division to be driven home so deeply that every race believes it. They believe it about the white race and they believe it about their races. And I think why white women were picked to be the safe race and gender is because it was their wives. And their wives benefited from what they did. It was easy to shield them as the protected because it made it easier for them to get away with it. And I think it's one of three reasons, and maybe a mixture. Number one being they're just stupid because they don't see it happening to other people like them. And they literally don't get it, and because they haven't seen it and they don't experience it in a public way like that. Or they're just greedy. They saw how it benefited them, and that's, I think the kind of the consensus. The third one, I think, is that they know the power of women. And if the women that they've set aside and protected get the power that they have, they're screwed. And they know that if all women and men alike who agree with this viewpoint started speaking out about it en masse as is happening, that it would stop. And that's why it had to be a white woman. I don't want it to be any color person. But I don't think white women who were stuck in any one of those categories could see it until it felt real to them, which is infuriating. But it's like how it was designed. Now they see it from every other race's point of view because they feel in danger of that happening to them. But it's been happening to all other races across this country and across this world, but not white people and not white women especially. Now that that line has been crossed, people get it. I hate that. It's like what it is. And I don't mean to say that any of us are to blame for any of that. It was literally a narrative that was told to us so that we reacted a certain way. And unfortunately, we all reacted that way because we believed it from the side that we were being told it from. Everyone who knows that she was murdered knows that that doesn't mean that she deserved it. No one deserves this. I don't mean to besmudge her memory or anybody's memory who has gone through anything similar to this throughout the entirety of history. As a white woman who has been speaking out about all of the injustices that have been happening over the last 5 years, 6 years, I know there are good-intentioned white women out there who don't care about freaking skin tone. We're all just shades of brown and tan. It's in the same spectrum. It doesn't matter. There are good-intentioned people of all skin colors. And there are bad-intentioned people of all skin colors. And the skin color thing needs to stop being the precedent of whether a person is good or not. We've been fed this narrative for so long. This is a wound. We have to heal. This is how we're going to heal it. Every race, all of humanity, has to experience things from their point of view in order for them to act. And I believe it's the result of the division that they've sown. They've trained us so that we can't see past skin color for decades. For generations, really. Within the tragic murder of Renee Nicole Good, we lost a person who didn't need to see it happening to other white women in order to stand up. What are you doing? Why is this light flashing? But we gained so many people who were sitting on the sidelines, including white women who were. And maybe that's the glimmer of hope, the nugget of hope.
Why are all these women getting divorced? Why are all these women getting divorced all across my timeline? I guess they want me to speak on it because that's all I see on my FYP, just divorces. Uh, and I tell you what, there's a lot of men saying in social media, your friends and all this stuff, knowing that it's y'all. Y'all, I've heard horrible stories in my inboxes too, as always. But one lady even said that her husband had the audacity, like she cooked a meal enough to last her and the family, the kids, for like a couple of days. Say he ate everything up just so she would have to work. And this lady was working just so she would have to come home and cook again instead of being considerate and making it stretch. You know what I'm saying? I had seen another lady said that she got fed up with her husband. She was like, "I'm tired. I just want divorce from you." And he gonna fake break like he had took too much of medication, and she had to meet them at the emergency room. And come to find out, he had took Tylenol. He took too much Tylenol, acting like he was trying to leave here because she said she wanted to leave him. The problem is men. I said this all the time. When you look back on, I even had, I shouldn't be saying this, but I can remember a time one of my uncles, it was Christmas time, and it sat with me. He had some clothes, and he brought it to the house and told my mama to put it up. And at the time, I didn't know what was going on. Why would he bring clothes over that Christmas day? And it wasn't for nobody. It was for him to put it up. It was from his side chick. Um, Women have their own money, own jobs, and now the men are always saying, I pay all the bills, I pay all the bills. That might be true, but you're not there for them emotionally, mentally, and even women saying on this app, they feel like even when you're intimate with them, they feel like you're going to the bathroom on them. Like you don't make them feel like women. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of women back in them 60s, 70s, and 80s, your grandma, your auntie, and all them things, I think they really put up with them men because they didn't have no job and no money. Because when I can look on this app and see a woman that ain't been married a good 2-3 months say she divorced the man and all this stuff, and the men always try to make it look like the women's fault because they'll stick around and stay. Yeah, you men stay because of all the perks you're getting, all the money you're saving. You don't want to leave because even a woman had added up with her lawyer how much she would be getting when she decided to divorce her husband. That's how bad it is. A lot of these men just stay with. It's sad, y'all. These men staying with these women because they don't want to divorce them because they want to keep their money. If it wasn't for that, I think they would get a divorce. But men are marrying women they don't really want to be with because they don't want to spend money to be with the woman they really want to be with. They just settle for somebody that was easy. And these women getting tired and fed up, and they actually speaking out about it. I ain't never seen so many women talking about divorce.
All the men out there whose wives are very concerned about everything happening in Minneapolis and very concerned about when it will come to your front doorstep in your community, because it will, I want you to know that your partner is looking to you to be the protector, provider, and leader of your family that you all claim to be. We've been told our entire lives, men are natural leaders. Now I'm hearing from all my friends when they go to their husbands saying they're worried, that they want your support, that they want to talk to you and plan for what's happening to keep your children safe or to make sure that your family is okay. And you tell them that they're overreacting, it's not going to happen, not to worry about it, to protect your peace. They're looking at you to be the protector. You are failing to protect them, because even if it doesn't get worse, let's play that out. Your partner, your wife, your girlfriend is now always going to remember that when she was scared and she looked to you for leadership and support, you brushed her off. Why doesn't really even matter. So what if it never happens? So what if it never comes to your doorstep? It will. But what's the worst that could happen by actually engaging with her and strategizing with her and, I don't know, showing up as an actual partner to her? Because she will remember that. She will also remember what you're saying now. And if you want to be looked at as the leader of your family, as the protector of your family, as the provider of your family, you have to actually lead, provide, and protect. It's not just one. It's not just you have a job and you get paid. Most of us have jobs and get paid too. You have to actually be involved.
Husband or boyfriend is not taking this moment of history seriously, you are with someone who is not safe for you. This is not the moment to stick your head in the sand like an ostrich, because things are escalating incredibly fast. Now, if you are with someone who is telling you, if you just stop being too aware of what's going on around you, everything is going to be okay, that person is not looking out for you or your best interests. They are also gaslighting you. That feeling in your gut of fear, that is coming from a place within you that is trying to protect you. You need to start thinking very seriously of moves to protect yourself and your family, because he is not going to do it for you. I have always said that women are the protectors that men always claim themselves to be. This is precisely what I mean. They are entirely unprepared for this moment if they're telling you that you are overreacting. You are not overreacting. You are reacting precisely the right way. If you are scared of what is happening, now you need to take that fear and you need to turn it into action to protect yourself and your family, because he is not going to do it for you. You know all those scenes in horror movies where like the wife is going, there is something wrong with this house, this person, this thing, this situation, and like the husband keeps telling her that she is overreacting and keeps gaslighting her and keeps telling her that like she's crazy, there's something wrong with her. That is who you are with. That guy is always wrong in every situation. Please start making arrangements for yourself to keep yourself safe and to keep the ones you love safe. Form community with other women. Turn all of that into action to keeping yourself safe. Think about alternative travel arrangements. Consider how you are going to, if you have to move in the middle of the night, how you are going to do that. As someone who's had to move in the middle of the night and leave everything behind, I understand precisely how to do that, but you need support to be able to do that. So start making alternative arrangements with people who are taking this as seriously as you now.
For those pending ex-wives, did you always know that your husband was a bit...
So the reason why we're seeing this be like the final straw, the final line in the sand for white women when it comes to like kind of tolerating the passivity of their husbands is because deep down they believed that if it came down to the line, at the very least, he would protect them. And now what we're seeing with what happened to Renee Good is that when they go to him and say, hey, honey, that could have been me, and he responds with, oh, you just care too much. Oh, just let it go. It doesn't actually affect you. Is they're going, oh, so that actually wasn't true. It is a ripping away of that last sort of false veneer of sense of like tolerance for the sake of security that we've had in our lives, where it's like, oh, I don't like his passivity. I know that he's kind of a coward, that he just isn't that invested, in social issues like I am. He doesn't, but he cares deep down, and I mean, and if it came down to it, like if I was in danger, he would care. He would protect me, at least. And it's like, oh, that actually wasn't true. And this sense of having that last, like, sense of privilege and security ripped away from us is shaking us to our core. Something that we've relied on all of our lives and kind of just depended on as a given fact has been ripped away, and it's fucking terrifying. And to be clear, I fully acknowledge that this is us only experiencing a teeny, tiny little nibble of what like black and brown women have been having to experience since forever. And that is something that deserves like extensive more discussion. But just to conclude and wrap up this one particular TikTok, if you, like me, as a white woman, am feeling that sort of new level of terror in your life right now, I see you, I got you, I empathize, but don't freeze. Also, speaking as a white woman to other white women, just to show that I'm not being a condescending hypocrite about this, I will toss my own vulnerability into the ring when it comes to this. I live in Minneapolis, and since all of this started with Renee Good's murder, I have not had a single one of my very large or extensive family call me to make sure that I am doing okay or that I am safe, and that basically tells me everything that I need to know when it comes to what sort of narrative they are likely consuming and buying into when it comes to all of this. While I've been spending the past many years sort of navigating what my boundaries are with these relationships, this is still a new low. This is a new sort of level of hurt and betrayal. And I still am trying to figure out and sort of negotiate with myself what this is even going to mean for my relationships moving forward with any of these people. Kind of a little stake in the heart to whatever progress I hoped I'd made. So when it comes to there being kind of like a newfound level of fear and pain, like, I feel you there, okay? But now's the time to learn to lean into it and grow and learn, not freeze. Let's put in the work. You got this. We got this, okay? It really fucking hurts and it really fucking sucks, but it's gonna be okay.
If he doesn't care about all women, he doesn't care about you.
I think the hardest part of this current political moment is realizing how many people around me are actually evil. Not stupid, not misinformed, not misguided, just blatantly, openly enjoying and relishing the suffering of other human beings.
White ladies are leaving their husbands. They're leaving their white husbands. They're telling their wives they're overreacting. And it's not that serious. And all of this stuff with ICE is not going to affect us. So why worry?
Man, all I know is that Minneapolis is probably going to move up the ranks of best places to be single after all of these divorces. And women understanding that the man they married is a bitch-made motherfucker who ain't really interested in protecting shit but his own peace. Ain't that right, boys?
Deep down, they believed that if it came down to the line, at the very least, he would protect them. And now what we're seeing with what happened to Renee Good is that when they go to him and say, hey, honey, that could have been me, and he responds with, oh, you just care too much. Oh, just let it go. It doesn't actually affect you. Is they're going, oh, so that actually wasn't true. This sense of having that last, like, sense of privilege and security ripped away from us is shaking us to our core. Something that we've relied on all of our lives and kind of just depended on as a given fact has been ripped away, and it's fucking terrifying.
Hopefully, what's going on now will finally be the thing that convinces white women, male-centered women, conservative women, etc., that if he doesn't care about all women, he doesn't care about any women. You either care about the safety of women or you don't. You either think all women are human or you don't. Yeah, and you thought that, oh, at least he's going to protect me, right? No, because this authoritarian, patriarchal thing that they're trying to build This is what your husband wants. This is the world that your husband, the man who promised before all your friends and family, and if you're religious, before God, that he would protect you. This is what he wants for you and for your children. This world where you can get in the head for doing absolutely nothing at all, just because the officer didn't like the cut of your jib, or you had pronouns in your profile, or he just didn't like your attitude that day. See, black people, we get unalive for that kind of shit all the fucking time. Do you see it now? Do you see?
Anyways, that's all I got for this video, guys. And you see what I said? Some of their reasons are quite genuine. Some of our reasons are not too genuine. Some of their reasons. Let's even start from the first woman. And I'm going to be talking as the woman part of it. Okay. Yes, because I am also in charge of my home, right? And of which I think every woman actually appreciates, to be in charge of your home. I can say for a fact that there are times, there are days where you are literally exhausted. That one is crystal clear. There are days you feel like, why am I even here? There are days you feel like, why do I need to be doing every single thing myself? There are days you feel like you're not doing enough. You're not contributing enough. You're not helping in the house enough. Okay? I understand that there are days like that. But whenever you see a man that is willing to take correction, that is willing to understand the part that you are from, that is willing to understand that, oh, I'm sorry, okay, this is actually what you want, okay, let's go by this. I think you should be able to calm down and give that man more time so that he can be able to process and understand what is happening. And another reason I feel like a lot of women are clearly exhausted when it comes to this wife work is because they want to be the superhero from the start of the relationship or marriage. Now, let me give you an example why I said that. I've literally seen a video where a white woman opened her stinking mouth to say that the reason why black men do come for them, which is our black men do prefer them to black women, is because at the end of the day, they are home keepers. They take care of their men, they do the dishes, they do the laundry, they do the house cleaning, and their men just have to be high. They respect their men, they just need to be highly respected. The woman said a lot of nonsense that at the end of the day, I don't know. I just pray she is still surviving in that marriage till now, making this man look like he is totally useless, like he don't need to do anything, because that is what I see it as. He just need to sit his axe down, and then she as a woman is supposed to do every single thing in the house. Now, if you start with this man on that particular note, how will you now, at the end of the day, come into that conclusion of understanding that, yes, it is time for him to be in charge of this? How do you think he'll be in charge of that? And I feel like that is where a lot of these white women divorces are coming from. It got to a point they will now feel like their men are not good enough. Their men are not doing enough. Because they have started with him on a platter of gold, of they want to be in charge of every single thing. Even we as Africans that are married to our African husband, there are some things that our African husband do help us in the house. Just for us not to get burned. Just for us not to be everywhere at the same time. Yes, my husband at the other end, he works. He works a 9 to 5 job. I create content, I take care of the house, but whenever he's coming back to the house, either he's coming with grocery or he is trying to call me to understand that what is not in the house that we practically need, so that I don't need to get that stress of going out again, or he is putting one or two things once he's at home. Then when it comes to Sunday, that we know that, okay, these are days that we just go to church and come back, we try to fix one or two things before Monday. That is how we started it from our relationship and even to our marriage days. So you're helping, I am helping. I don't need to be exhausted because I'm a woman. I don't need to take all of the burden of cleaning, sucking, throwing children east, west, north, and south, just because I want to make you feel like a man. I think that is one of the places where a lot of white folks are getting it wrong. You know, whenever they see Black American women and their husband living in peace, they already have this illusion that, oh, she must be suffering her husband, or oh, her husband must be doing every single thing. Oh, for that marriage to be successful, she is literally taking him out. They think that a man helping a woman literally means that man is a slave, and of which it is not. That is why you are called to help in carrying out a lot of responsibility. Then another thing again that I feel like is one of the genuine reasons why when the second clip in my video was talking was when she talked about the age 60 to 70%, and this is actually why it's actually happening when it happens when it comes to menopause, blah blah blah. I feel like when it's even come to that area, there was no really, see, if you have a memory of how you guys started, I think for me, if you're getting older, you should be able to now understand the parts that your partner is coming from, and then understand that the both of you now have to love each other. My parents have been married for over 40 years now, and everything I see every single day is love. That is what I see. I don't see them argue. I don't see them fight. I don't know. Maybe there's something about these white folks that I really don't understand why they will run away, they will flee away, they will divorce their husband. I don't know. And do not get me wrong, I'm not saying that even black people or Africans don't divorce. Yes, they do divorce. But the truth is, most of these their own reasons are small things that at the end of the day you should know that this is the solution to this problem instead of just getting a divorce. But I still understand, and I am a huge fan of, if it gets to this point and you feel like you can't take it anymore, instead of to overthink yourself, get into depression stage or unalive yourself, I think it is better you leave. And that is why whenever I see people divorce, I really don't have any issue about that. Are we going to be talking about the boy, which the 22 years old guy, of which for me, I feel like he was too young to get married, where he literally got married and at the end of the day, his partner cheated on him. I'm so sorry. I'm not happy that his partner cheated on him, but my guy. Guys, I don't want to say too much, but let me know what you think and what you understand in every single part of this video. Credit belongs to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode, and this is just for educational purposes. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, and also supporting this channel. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. Thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me to the end of this video. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be seeing back and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye guys. I love you guys. Mwah.